Greetings, citizens of the internet. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about friend of the show, Kanye West, aka Ye. Obviously not a friend of the show, not a friend of many people right now, thanks to public comments he's made. But let's go through that actually. The first thing I wanted to start with here is this little post that I saw on Digging Daily. And here's what it says. It says, Kanye completely owns 100% of his companies now. Even if he loses half his sales, all profits go to him. No more middleman. He did all that without having to go to court to get out of existing contracts. That's a crazy business move. Is it though? I mean, it's definitely crazy because Kanye's crazy, but is that really what he did? Well, let's retread the steps here. So what I'd like to do is first go all the way back to the lyrics for the song New Day, which is on the Watch the Throne record with Jay-Z. And Kanye says in the first verse, and I'll never let my son have an ego. He'll be nice to everyone wherever we go. I mean, I might even make him be Republican so everybody know he love white people. So already Kanye was kind of on this tip a little bit. He's always been on kind of a conservative Christian trip. I mean, he knows his audience. His audience is primarily white people from the suburbs. So, I'm not saying that black people don't listen to Kanye. I'm just saying that I guarantee you if you were to break down his listening demographics, it's largely white people. So then he put out albums like, one of his biggest hits is Jesus Walks. And then he did a whole album, Jesus is King. So, you go all the way back to just Kanye telling you who he is. And, he's always kind of been this guy. So let's go back again to September 16th of 2020. And I don't know if a lot of people remember this or not, but Kanye kind of threw this public tantrum and he shared all of his record contracts. And this was really interesting because not only did he share the contracts, but he went on this tirade. And here's what Double XL says. Trust me, I won't stop, he captioned the video posted to Twitter. While Kanye West's face is not seen in the clip, it's hard to assume the video would be featuring another person using the restroom with Ye's Grammy in the toilet and a pair of the rapper's shoes on their feet. This is one of the 100 tweets Kanye sent out within the last hour. However, his ammunition was initially pointed at record labels like Def Jam and UMG. His most recent stunt with the award could be seen as a way to challenge the music industry, like he mentioned he would do in a series of tweets earlier today. The Jesus Walks rapper promised fans he would deliver a moment that could change the music industry as a whole. In a tweet shared to the social media platform, Kanye expressed how humiliated he felt to share the details of his contract, as he has previously mentioned that he is fighting for the rights to his song masters. This moment is going to change the industry for good. I feel so humbled and blessed that God has put me in a strong enough position to do this. Everyone keep praying. It's working. I'm on my knees this morning, he wrote. And then he pissed on the Grammy. So fast forward from that was September 16th, 2020 to November 4th of 2021. Kanye appears on Drink Champs and says that with the Donda release in late August, he fulfilled his 10-album deal with Def Jam and UMG and is no longer confined to his contract. So an article from Variety says Kanye West has no record company or publishing deal. How will he release music? Well, I don't know what world these people live in, but it's not difficult. According to this article, Def Jam, which owns the copyright to his recordings up to sometime in the mid-2010s, distributed the subsequent releases up to last year's Donda album. He's confirmed that the deal with the company ended last year. The copyright credits on some albums have changed in recent weeks. It now appears that West owns his masters from the 2013 Yeezy album onward. It says it's certainly possible to work within the label system on a per-release basis. Prince managed to avoid signing with the label for at least 20 years of his career, owning the masters and licensing some of the releases to majors, others to larger independents, and others simply on the internet, although he did not carry the baggage that West does. So he's pretty much contractually free for the most part. I mean, I'm sure the label still owns some of his older masters, and that'll probably be the case for a while, but he's not owned by anyone. He could put a song out tomorrow. After this, it takes about a year before we hear from him again, but there's this headline from CNBC that says Kanye West's Yeezy terminates deal with Gap. Quote, a king can't live in someone else's castle. Kanye said Thursday he's terminated the contract between the company Yeezy and Gap. In a letter sent by his lawyer, Yeezy said Gap failed to meet obligations in the agreement, including distributing products to store locations and creating dedicated Yeezy Gap stores. And that was September 15th of 2022 that he said, hey, I'm no longer with Gap. About 2 weeks later, on October 3rd, is Paris Fashion Week. And that is where things start to get a little nutty. During Paris Fashion Week, Kanye and Candace Owens don those White Lives Matter shirts. This is obviously kind of a troll move, but hey, it worked. It got some attention. And here we are at October 3rd, 2022 with Kanye and a White Lives Matter shirt. So, of course, this blows up all over the place. A couple days later, Kanye appears on the Tucker Carlson show, and here he is explaining the White Lives Matter shirts. So here's the first clip.
What if they... I want to answer the white... Yeah. I feel like someone caught what I was saying, the comparison to Tanya Hardin about the White Lives Matter. You know, my dad is an educated ex-Black Panther, and he put a text to me today, said, White Lives Matter, ha, 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 ha. And I said, I thought the shirt was a funny shirt. I thought the idea of me wearing it was funny. And I said, Dad, what do you think it was funny? He said, just a black man stating the obvious. And, you know, my dad doesn't listen to rap music, and he's...
So that's the first clip. And one thing I'll say about Kanye, you're lucky that I edited these clips because he goes on, he likes to ramble. He seems like he might be a little on the spectrum. That's just me. I think a lot of people are, but whatever the case, that's the first clip. The second clip here, he goes into a little more detail about this.
I am following it.
All right.
So you said that your father said when he saw the shirt White Lives Matter, it's great to see a black man stating the obvious. So by which I think you meant that's obviously true.
Yeah, that's my favorite response, because I kept on thinking, like, you know, people, they're looking for an explanation, and people say, well, as an artist, you don't have to give an explanation, but as a leader, you do.
Yes, I think that's right.
So the answer to why I wrote White Lives Matter on a shirt is because they do. It's the obvious thing.
Yeah. Why do you think that's so? And I assume the implication is, of course, all lives matter because they're lives, because God created them.
Yeah.
Why do you think that would be considered controversial?
Because the same people that have stripped us of our identity and labeled us as a color have told us what it means to be black.
So I don't necessarily agree with everything he says, but I think he makes it pretty clear that the shirts were designed to gin up controversy. It's almost like a troll move, right? The idea that Kanye is some hateful Jew hater is lost when you actually view the context. He's either being a troll or he's saying things inartfully that you could misconstrue, someone could misconstrue. He's not a hateful person. So at the end of this rant, there was something I thought was interesting given all the debate that's going on right now about what woke means. Listen to this.
Longer trauma drunk, and we're no longer trauma bonding, and we're no longer woke in the sense of what woke is, because woke is just complaining about racism but not doing anything about it.
So that's a pretty good point that he brings up there that I think was lost on a lot of people. After the Tucker Carlson interview was one of the big moments in this whole thing. The whole DEFCON 3 tweet where he said, "I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. I can't." Funny thing is, I can't actually be anti-Semitic, and he's obviously drunk or like on pills or something here, because it's not DEFCON, it's DEFCON. It's a military code, and if you read what it means preparedness. So even that, as dicey as it is, it's pretty harmless. I don't know that you could construe that as like hateful towards Jewish people. It's Anyway, moving on. So after the DEFCON tweet, Kanye gets into an argument with Diddy apparently, and he posts screenshots of their arguments on Facebook and Instagram. And in these arguments, he's basically accusing Diddy of being controlled, quote unquote, by Jewish people. And at that point, Facebook and Instagram cancel his accounts and take him down. So they're like, that's it, Kanye, you're done. He's kicked off Facebook and Instagram at that point. So 2 days later, October 12th, Candace Owens tweets out that Kanye was dropped by Chase. It looks like he was dropped by Chase way before this even happened, though. They dropped him back in September 20th. And the whole White Lives Matter thing didn't even happen until the 3rd of October. So this is interesting, but Chase cut ties with him, and Facebook and Instagram have canceled him now. And so on October 19th, an important thing happens. Ari Emanuel, Rahm Emanuel's brother and the owner of WME, which is one of the two biggest agencies in Hollywood. In Hollywood, there's WME and CAA. Those are the two. If you're an artist, if you're a rock star, an actress, even AOC has a contract with CAA or WME. And if you don't know who Ari Emanuel is, he's the guy who the show Entourage is about. It's basically his life story, is how he became a famous Hollywood agent. And he's Rahm Emanuel's brother. So as you can imagine, these are very powerful people. Rahm Emanuel was the mayor of Chicago. He was Obama's chief of staff, I believe. And his brother is this probably the most powerful, one of, if not the most powerful agents in Hollywood. So Ari Emanuel writes this article in the Financial Times basically saying Kanye needs to be boycotted. Everyone should cut ties with him. And he makes the case that Mel Gibson went through a similar thing. I don't know if you remember when Mel Gibson had this anti-Semitic tirade, and Mel Gibson was legitimately anti-Semitic, the stuff he said. So, but eventually Mel Gibson came around and, atoned and like realized the stuff he was saying wasn't cool, and they forgave him, and now he's, back to being Mel Gibson again. So that's the kind of the argument that Ari makes in this article. And about 2 days later, on the 21st, he does an interview with Piers Morgan, and he storms out of it. Piers Morgan's kind of a pompous ass anyway. So he storms out of that, and on that same day, Balenciaga cuts ties with him. Ironically, the whole, Balenciaga scandal with the kids thing hadn't happened yet. And I don't know, maybe that happened as a result of him. But they cut ties with him on the 21st. And then on the 24th, he does the Lex Fridman podcast and makes a lot of odd arguments with Lex Fridman. And CAA drops Ye on that day. So on the 25th, the next day, October 25th, 2022, Adidas, Foot Locker, Peloton, TJ Maxx, all come out and say they are cutting ties with Kanye and not selling any of the Yeezy products. After Ari Emanuel came out and said some stuff, a lot of people are starting to listen and cut ties. About a month later, on November 22nd, Ye and Nick Fuentes have dinner with Trump. Now, I don't know a lot about Nick Fuentes, but from what I gather, People are calling him a white supremacist, or I guess or a white nationalist. He seems like a typical white Christian Republican to me. And in the Alex Jones interview, he said some stuff that seemed a little dicey to me. He heard someone say some stuff about the Talmud, and he just believed it without, consulting someone who really knows. Anyway, November 22nd, Ye and this Nick Fuentes guy have dinner with Trump, and the press has a heyday with it. Oh, Trump! Of course, anything they can hang around Trump's neck, they're gonna. Trump had dinner with a white supremacist. Yeah. And then there's a whole sub story to this that Trump says Kanye set him up, and because Kanye wants to run for president, he's trying to make Trump look bad. Who knows? I mean, given the way the press has reported on Trump, I don't believe hardly anything that they say. They're saying he's going to go to jail this week, and it's not going to happen. So, after this, Kanye goes on Tim Pool. Here's the clip of him on Tim Pool.
Says I'm getting hosed down every day by the press, and financially I'm just standing there. And when I found out that they tried to put me in jail, it was like a dog was biting my arm, and I almost shed a tear, almost. But I still walked in stride through it. Yeah.
I think they've been extremely unfair to you.
Who was they though? We can't say they is, can we?
Press. I'm not using I don't use the word as the way I guess you guys use. I'm talking.
It is
about
them though, isn't it? I mean, because because when you think about it, consider it. In 2018.
What do you mean it's not?
What do I mean? Like, okay, so how about? Are you leaving?
Are you afraid of the press?
He's gone. I'll say it right now. You guys want to bring that stuff up? And then
have the discussion.
Not gonna have a conversation.
Have the discussion.
Like you think Ye's gonna come in here and say, "Here's my pain, here's my suffering." I'm gonna say, "I hear you," and then he's gonna say, "And it was Jewish people," and I'm gonna be like, "Okay, but don't you consider?" It's like, I'm not gonna do this. I refuse.
Make sure he's cool.
All right, go for it. Luke and I will have a conversation. So I can't say I'm surprised. What do I even do? Other than ask him, please elaborate on this. Are you referring to individuals, or are you quite literally blaming an entire group of people for the fact that powerful individuals are causing you harm?
So Tim Pool got a lot of crap, most recently from Anthony Fantano, about platforming white supremacists or anti-Semitism. I mean, listen to that, All he did was ask him to clarify who he's talking about, and Kanye threw a tantrum and got up and left, so... I like Tim Pool. I think Tim Pool is an honest actor. I think he's really trying his best to present what he believes to be the truth. And maybe I don't always agree with him. Maybe he's not always right, but he seems like a good person. And I think this kind of shows, he's trying to have a sensible conversation, and Kanye just storms out like a child. So after he storms out of Tim Pool, Kanye ends up on Alex Jones. And this is really interesting, and it obviously a lot of it was banned from Utah. A lot of it was banned from YouTube. It's probably banned from Utah too, if we're being honest. But there were a lot of interesting little clips here, and you'll thank me again because it's 3 hours long, and I know you don't want to watch it all. And I didn't watch all of it, but I got some really good clips out of it that I don't think a lot of people have talked about. So let's dive into these. So here's the first one.
Is a spirit. We're gonna go into the spirit of Al-Kule. Let's just go to the facts today. Let's not just even do opinions. And I love how you brought that in, because now you got God's warriors coming together. Right now, okay, Nick Fuentes doesn't have a Twitter account. Alex Jones doesn't have a Twitter account. But hey, guess what, Elon? I got a Twitter. And today I'm going to have Nick and Alex tweet from my account. You like that, Ari Emanuel?
So right there,
I'm all about free speech, and the greatest threat is those that want to silence us. That's why it comes First Amendment.
So right there, he's already taking shots at Ari Emanuel, hey. And Alex Jones, throughout this whole thing, is the voice of reason. I never thought I would see Alex Jones as the voice of reason, but that's definitely what he is here.
We can go 4 or 5 hours if you want, but the main show's actually 4 hours long. I was just hoping for 3. We'll do 4 hours if you guys.
So it's interesting. Kanye's wearing this mask, and so this whole interview to me is odd. Like it's such a troll interview, and you'll see. Some of the things he says near the end totally prove that. So anyway, listen to this.
Up for it, but here's what I'm saying. I am a classical liberal at heart, so I love everybody and I judge people by what they do, not what color they are. And then I look at the things you said, and some of them out of context I don't agree with, but compared to a liberal, a modern liberal saying white people are inherently evil and white people are bad because of their skin color, and then that's what the ADL and Southern Poverty Law Center and these leftist groups in Hollywood have pushed. So they're putting out something beyond even what Hitler said, but reversing it onto white people, and we're supposed to sit there and accept it. And then Ye comes out and says, hey, I see kind of a mafia running things, and then he's the devil. No, that's bullshit. Sorry.
All right, we're going to curse a little bit less on this subject.
Yes, Reverend. I'm going to try. I'll stop.
So I mainly pulled that clip because that last part where Alex Jones says bullshit and then Kanye gets all churchy on him and he says, yes, Reverend. I just thought that was funny. I don't see liberals doing what he's saying, basically. And it's interesting to hear him call himself a classic liberal, because that's I think I would consider myself that, in the sense that it's live and let live, and I think Alex Jones probably sees himself that way as well. But I think my problem with a lot of these conservatives and their commentators is they're such drama queens. They act like white Christians or Christians have it tough. Yo, Christians run the friggin' world. Okay. So in this next clip, I thought it was interesting because he brings up Harvey Weinstein. He says, Christian stands next to anyone. So anyway, listen to this.
Want us to connect to each other. Like my dad said, okay, they say you're anti-Semitic, but they say he's a white supremacist. And he's asking me, well, what's the difference? I said, Dad, there is no difference. It's just separation and confusion. They want to separate and confuse the Christians and make us afraid to stand next to each other. A Christian can stand next to anyone. We can go visit R. Kelly in prison. We can go talk to Harvey Weinstein.
That's what Jesus did.
Yes, because Jesus can save everyone. But if the Zionists can get us so afraid that they're going to do what they've been doing to me, attempting to put me in jail, freeze my accounts, smearing me on the media, all of these things, you put on the whole armor of God and they will not be able to break your spirit.
And by the way, we can do 3 hours on this subject,
yeah.
and you do 5 hours on it. And let's just get it all going now, because I want to get into...
So yeah, again, that kind of stuff is a little bad shit to me. But it's stuff that regular Christians believe too, anyway. So in this next clip, he specifically calls out again to Ari and Rahm Emanuel.
This guy that invented highways, invented the very microphone that I use as a musician, you can't say out loud that this person ever did anything good, and I'm done with that. I'm done with the classifications. Every human being has something of value that they brought to the table, especially Hitler. How about that one? Ari Emanuel, how you like that one? Hey, Ron, you gonna do anything to fix Chicago?
Well, I am worried about the thousands of black folks down in the month of Chicago, but let me expand on that, because that's a nuanced issue.
So Alex Jones, again, throughout this thing is the voice of reason, but also it's pretty obvious that Alex Jones came from a family or has a grandfather who fought in World War II. There's a point near the end, which I didn't clip, where he talks about his grandfather telling him stories when he's a little kid about going into Germany and finding like piles of bodies and stuff, like he obviously knows that the Holocaust was legit. He's not trying to pretend. He's not some Holocaust denier or anything. But one thing I wanted to take a break for a second and talk about is the claims that Kanye made here about the microphone and the highways. The Neumann microphone is a very well-known microphone in the music industry. It's one of the best microphones there is for vocals. It's they're really expensive, $3,000 to $10,000 microphones. And every major studio has a Neumann microphone. And so there's this guy, Jordan Thrilla, who had this little bit about the microphone that I just wanted to shout out real quick because it's a really good little piece. But he says, did Adolf Hitler Nazis invent the microphone? Question trends after Kanye West's especially Hitler comment during InfoWars interview with Alex Jones. Now, Hitler didn't invent the microphone, but listen to what this guy says. During his InfoWars interview with the Bible in front of him, Kanye West claimed that every human being has brought something of value to the table, quote, especially Hitler, in his own words. Kanye West believes Hitler should be praised for inventing the microphone and highways. Naturally, this raised a viral question on social media. Did Adolf Hitler's Nazi regime invent the microphone? Surprisingly, there is a deep connection between the design of microphones and Germany during his rule. There are two people credited in history for the invention of the microphone: Emil Berliner, who filed the patent for the first microphone in 1877, and James West, an American inventor, who also holds design patents for the microphone. However, Germans during Hitler's regime are also credited for perfecting the design of the microphone in terms of making them able to project sound over wide spaces. According to history books, Adolf Hitler was searching for a way to clearly amplify his voice to massive crowds during his speeches to strengthen support for his Nazi army. At the time, the sound of scope of microphones was very limited, so Hitler hired engineers to perfect the design to do more. As a result, the well-known Neumann CMV3A microphone was designed specifically for Hitler to use during his speeches, which was later nicknamed the Hitler bottle. And then as far as the highways goes, they called it the Reichsautobahn, which was, Germans didn't invent roads, but they had one of the first, sophisticated highway systems. So, I don't agree with Kanye that Hitler was good. But I think the point he's trying to make is that even people who sin and do bad things have value. And that's a Christian thing, but, he's also being a little bit of a troll. Anyway, here's evidence that he's being a troll in the next clip.
Alex.
Yes, sir.
I've got the perfect answer for the ADL. They are going to have to listen up. What we did is we brought Netanyahu with us.
I'm in the twilight zone right now.
Netanyahu, what do you have to say? What do you have to say to Alex Jones right now, Nick Fuentes and Ye? It was bad. It was bad for Trump to meet with Nick and Ye. Okay. I had no idea your voice was going to sound like that, Netanyahu.
So you don't like Benjamin Netanyahu?
I just heard about this guy 2 weeks ago since like the tweet, and I thought he had a funny name. I heard he's like really into he's like a super killer, and I could die for saying this, so in case this the last time you ever hear from me.
Well, look. I'm glad you guys are here.
I mean, he's obviously being a troll, and the guy who runs InfoWars does a good job. He puts up a newspaper article because after that meeting that they had with Trump, that Netanyahu apparently came out and said, and shamed Trump for meeting with these guys, and so Kanye's making fun of that a little bit with his net and Yoo-hoo there, but obviously the Black Mask, the I Love Hitler stuff, he's being a troll, and you'll see why.
Do you guys realize that the British government created Hitler and the Milner Group put him in power?
Listen to Alex Jones
There's
here.
Something much more sophisticated, and I personally think that both Jews are great people, and I understand there's a Jewish mafia, and they're used to demonize anybody that promotes freedom, but I don't blame Jews in general for that. And there is a much larger eugenics, transhumanist, scientific elite agenda that's playing off.
What about abortion? It's 50% of black deaths. There's over 50.
Hey, one of the papers I had, you're like, why is all...
See, I don't know if that's a true statistic. I don't know where he gets that from. I would like to look into that, but I don't necessarily believe that. I don't. And also, Kanye, he literally starts to sound like a church lady throughout the course of this interview as it kind of goes deeper and deeper.
has Instagram selling pornography to little kids, and people are selling it. It's prostitution rings. Instagram.
So is your point,
Really?
let he without sin cast the first stone?
Instagram is a prostitution ring. Like, I went 30 days off of Instagram, and it was the best part of the fast. Me getting kicked off of Instagram was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because when I go to it, it's like watching it with the They Live goggles, which is something that Owen Benjamin, you guys got to pull this up. Dave Chappelle is a hack, and he gets a lot of his jokes from Owen Benjamin. Dave Chappelle went on a Jewish platform and said, "They dropped that nigga." Dave Chappelle said, "They dropped that nigga," talking about Ye, and he called me Kanye, and I'm supposed to be his friend. Dave Chappelle does not believe in God and does not believe in Jesus. These are the kind of black leaders that the Zionists put in front of us. And meanwhile, we want to knock Herschel Walker, but Herschel Walker changed his life for Christ. And he might have had abortions, but he doesn't believe in abortion.
Well, sure, what matters is I have too. What matters is the heart.
So that clip right there is the most unhinged of all of them, in my opinion, where he's talking about Dave Chappelle stealing his jokes. I mean, he's mad at Dave Chappelle because Dave Chappelle called him Kanye instead of Ye. There's so many thoughts scrambled into that. And then at the end, he's talking about Instagram being prostitution because he's mad at Instagram for canceling him off that. And then the Dave Chappelle thing, when he goes into I love the way that clip ends with him talking about Herschel Walker, who is literally one of the dumbest people alive. And how, what does he say? He says, even though he doesn't believe in abortion, even though he's had abortions or something like that. Like, what a genius. I mean, come on. Just let that sink in.
For the ADL to have what are very racial policies.
The ADL is played out. Nobody knows who the ADL are. Stop giving them attention. Nobody cares about the ADL. ADL, shut up.
They run all the censorship and everything.
They don't run anything. They're played out. We run the streets.
Well, I'm singling out the ADL. So
we don't know who they are. No one in high school knew what the word anti-Semitic was until Ye made it popular.
I hear you. It's definitely a tiger by the tail. Nick, you want to comment here?
Alex Jones doesn't even know what to do. He's like, what am I supposed to do? But that right there, again, proof this is a troll work. Right there, he says, high school kids didn't know what anti-Semitic meant until Ye made it popular. What in the hell? That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Come on.
No black person should say nothing bad about me in public unless they're a puppet. Period. I put my life on the line. And then afterwards, they're going to talk about it. If anything happens to me, everyone's going to be like, oh, he was the greatest. He was the greatest. Everybody shut up. Everybody shut up. Go home to your scared little Benz and your scared little townhome and your scared little movie contracts and shut up. Don't talk to me about nothing, bro.
Well, what do you think of Ice Cube? That he lost 9 or 7 million, whatever it was, because he wouldn't take the shot. I respect that.
Ice Cube's a real one.
Yeah, I respect Cube, but he's got to play his position. It's like, it's fine. I wanted Cube to come in and help us with the politics because he's one of the only people that was brave enough to talk.
He's definitely for real.
Yeah, he's an engineer. He's an architect and engineer by trade. And then he dropped out to do entertainment. Guys, hey, everybody, stop. All engineers.
So Kanye is obviously trolling at this point. And watch this. This is so great. Alex Jones calls him out. This is so funny.
So you were a little mad at Farrakhan. You had to talk. How'd that go?
It's gonna be all Christian, Ari. Rom. Don't worry. It's gonna be all Christian, Rom.
More call outs to Ari and Rom.
Look, you look really friendly and nice, but with that mask, you look evil as hell. Let me just say this in closing. I've done a lot of study. I think Hitler was a really bad guy, and I repudiate what Hitler did. I understand that the British intelligence set him up and used him.
I like Hitler.
I don't like Hitler. And I know you're trying to be shocking with that.
I'm not trying to be shocking. I don't like Hitler.
And I know you're trying to be shocking with that. He just calls him out. I love it. Alex Jones is such a good sport. But I swear, I think he's confused sometimes. He's like, do I take this guy seriously or what am I doing? Like, what is he doing? He's sitting in here wearing a ski mask, just saying these wild things. So the next day, after this interview, Kanye goes and posts a swastika with a Star of David around it on Twitter, and Elon boots him off of Twitter. And again, who is that threatening? Who has Kanye hurt? You know, there are all kinds of people. A lot of people don't talk about this, but he donated money to the George Floyd family, Breonna Taylor. He gave money to these people. He just gave their families money. Kanye did when they were killed, and no one talks about that. No one talks about the good stuff that he's done. He does these church services. He's not a bad person. He's not someone who's out there trying to hurt Jewish people. And there was a whole bunch of reports of, there's people that put a flag up on a bridge saying like Kanye was right or whatever. I mean, can you really hold him to that? Can you really hold people responsible for stuff that other people do in their names? If I go out tomorrow and kick some guy in the balls on the corner and say Hillary Clinton made me do it, is it really Hillary Clinton's fault? Any guy can go into a mall and shoot a bunch of people and say Trump told me to make America great again. Is it Trump's fault if that guy does that? No, it's not. And you're a ridiculous person if you think it is. I'm sorry. This is what I wanted to end this off with, because I think Kanye is a lot smarter than people give him credit for. I really do. And to show you what I mean, here's a clip from Fox Business News. And this is from September 13th. And if we go back in our timeline, September 13th was right before he severed ties with The Gap. And before the White Lives Matter shirts even. So watch this clip.
Rapper and clothing designer Kanye West is saying he's done with corporate America. Hey, Ashley, what is his problem?
Yeah. Well, he says it's time for him to branch out by himself. The rapper and designer saying this, quote, yeah, it's time for me to go it alone. It's fine. I made the company's money. The company's made me money. We created ideas that will change apparel forever. Now it's time for ye to make the new industry. No more companies standing in between me and the audience. But it may not be so easy to make a clean break. Pardon me for that. West has long-term agreements with Adidas and Gap to produce sneakers and apparel. He's also been at odds with his bank, JP Morgan Chase, criticizing its executives, including CEO Jamie Dimon. Bottom line, West says his creative juices are not being allowed to flow freely, and he's going alone.
Won't be easy to get out of those contracts now, will it? Wink, wink. Forgive me, but did we just not watch Kanye get out of all those contracts? I think we did. And I want to end this segment with this clip that didn't make the Tucker Carlson interview of Tucker Carlson at Kanye's Yeezy headquarters in LA, trying his, Yeezy Season 9 coffee and his 3D printed boots. The guy has all the resources to do everything he needs to do on his own. He doesn't need these companies anymore. Watch this.
This is the Donda. It's activated charcoal, black sesame, oatmeal, corn, floss, and honey, and then coffee distillate. Want to give it a try?
Well, I will drink that.
I'm curious what you think it tastes like. Everyone has a different reaction.
I'm pretty open-minded about what I put in my mouth.
That was kind of dirty sounding.
Right?
Yes.
You should try this one as well.
I'll try anything you hand.
For sure. What does that taste like to you, out of curiosity?
It tastes like activated charcoal, honey, sesame. I can taste all those things.
Some people say peanut butter and jelly.
Yes.
That's why I was curious.
Let me get one too, please.
Oh, of course. That's going to be coconut milk.
And this is Kanye filming this, by the way, on his phone. I
Well.
think he posted it on Instagram or
Chances are
something.
like this 100%.
Yeah, have you ever had like bunny milk or something kind of like that?
That's actually, I love a little more.
For sure.
That's actually incredible.
Yeah.
I don't taste the coffee though.
So we literally put coffee through a distiller. So it's like a clear, almost tasteless liquid.
Can you explain the
It's like trace amounts of caffeine. I would compare it more to like a green tea than like a coffee. As
the 3D printed shoes?
I need this at my house.
Yeah.
Tucker.
Yeah.
Alex, make Mike
So Eddie's got the information.
Hey,
on
Tucker
the
brought out
3D.
the shoes. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Yeah, these are 3D printed. Right now we're exploring an option to create a 3D printing facility, like a farm. I'm supposed to be getting a deck this week, and we're gonna see with this one company that basically figured out how to do it a lot faster.
Can I ask a stupid question?
Yeah.
Are they assembled? Is the sole attached, or are they printed?
It's all one solid piece that's printed.
That's incredible.
Yeah. That takes like
So it emerges.
30 hours right now for one shoe. So obviously
Oh, and
that's
I
not
can
feasible.
see.
Yeah, it's every single layer. So right now it's not that feasible for production, but we're trying to basically speed up the tech that's available to make this more practical.
So that, like, no labor cost at that point.
I mean, there will be labor. There's machines. You gotta get the resources.
And what is it made out of?
So this exact blend, I'm not 100% sure. We actually had this rushed and done perfectly in time for his fashion show.
Well, it's durable. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. This was worn for the show too.
That's so cool.
Are they comfortable?
Yeah. You can feel it.
Oh yeah.
You try them on if you want to try
I'll try it. What size is that?
You want to try it? Try it on.
46 or something.
All right. I'm an older man, so I'm gonna hold you as I put this on. That's awesome, actually.
You might want to pair those for Maine. Huh?
Yes, I wear boots hunting. I wore them yesterday.
Yeah.
They're kind of like this, but they're
great for
3D printed. What's on the inside? What is that?
It's awesome.
That's from the printing.
The sole is really, the cushion inside is crazy.
It's going to change the game because we can adjust how hard and how cushioned whatever specific part is.
Yeah. So every design oh yeah, every single design will probably have to have its own little tweak formula.
Wow, I got it.
So there you go. Is Kanye a raging, hateful anti-Semite? Or is he a Machiavellian business genius who just wriggled his way out of contracts and has the resources to continue building his empire without any roadblocks or anyone telling him yes or no? You be the judge. Thanks for listening. Take care of yourself.